I'm Kevin Price with the Price of Business Show in Houston, Texas on CBS Radio. I'm here at Dreamforce 2010 in San Francisco, California, our continued coverage of some really great events and great information that we're acquiring when it comes to taking your business to the next level with the new movement towards cloud computing. And I just attended really an interesting panel discussion on how you apply the concepts behind cloud to the real world of business. And it was head up by Walter Rogers of Baker Communications, the president of Baker Communications, and we're going to start with him. And plus we have Mike Clayville, who is also participating in that panel, and he's with VMware. And so we're looking forward to that conversation. Walter, why don't you tell us, first of all, what were your objectives going into this event?
Well, into
this particular event.
Yeah, well, we've been really passionate about helping organizations just get a lot better about prospecting in their marketplace as they've just run out of runway in terms of squeezing out cost reductions. So it's all about top line growth, and we wanted to get the message out to the community that there is a better way. Salesforce.com is an absolute enablement platform to build a prospecting culture, and we were blessed to have two great guests on the show. Mike Clayville, of course, from VMware, with us to share his perspective on prospecting.
Right, and we had a representative from Dell, wasn't able to join us, but she did a phenomenal job as well. Mike, you know, going into the panel, you had specific objectives of your own. Tell us what your objectives were.
Well, I think it's important for us to support Walter and his mission. He's done a great job for us, enabled us to really transform our organization and drive a prospecting culture deep into our organization. I was really here to support Walter and enable him to get that message across.
What are the overriding objectives for VMware in general, and in terms of how it matters to the typical person in business today?
Yeah, well, I think everybody in business today is wrestling with this notion of how do I get more out of less, right? And that's what prospecting allows you to do, is really focus your time in places that can be very productive. Think about your sales force as nothing more than a manufacturing plant. You have a certain amount of capacity. You use that capacity better, you'll get a lot more results, and that's what Walter helps me do.
Right, so really getting the biggest bang for your buck when it comes to prospecting.
That's exactly right.
To be a little cliche-ish there. Several takeaways I'm personally going to walk away with, but what were some of the ones that you were hoping that the audience would leave with today?
Well, the main one is that there's a methodology and a process towards building a prospecting culture. You don't hope and get an outcome.
Right.
And so we talked about what that process and methodology is, so that was one of the takeaways. The second one was, it's not easy, but there is a path. Right, and so this is not something that's going to happen overnight. You do need to embark on a journey and a mission, and you need to have some real fortitude towards getting there. Because sales reps, historically, prospecting is not the, they don't wake up in the morning thinking, wow, I'm excited about prospecting today. Do they, Mike? Now, I know you want them to, and I know we're going to get them there, right?
As part of that, in fact, that's their primary job. They still get
exactly.
excited.
Well, exactly. Well, they'd just rather that you hand them an order that's ready to close. And prospecting is the act of actually understanding where that order is, and then building up the capacity to fulfill that order. Well,
it's about taking a lot of no's and getting through that, right? Nobody wants to hear no, and what you have to
But there's a reward eventually. If you keep asking, you'll eventually get what you're looking for.
You push your way through it.
Great conversation. Again, one of the many that we've heard here today, one of the many panels that have taken place. It's incredibly informative what we're learning about when it comes to Dreamforce, and I suggest people check out Dreamforce.com and VMware.com, of course, BakerCommunications.com, and of course, everyone knows Walter Rogers, who co-hosts a segment with me every week, every Wednesday on The Price of Business on Talk 650 in Houston, Texas.